So today we have with us, before we even start our next interview, our amazing podcast teacher, Mr. Autrey.
Hello, thank you for having me.
And I'm gonna say one fun fact before we get to the questions. Did you know that there's more than 71 million episodes that exist in podcast feeds?
71 million. Wow. No, I did not know that. That's a good fact.
And today we're going to add one more to that.
I love that. I love that.
Another fun fact, in every podcast I'm in, I always have a little snack with me. I don't know if you can tell.
It's good to have snacks. I think everybody likes snacks.
Okay.
Okay. My first question is, why did you pick to do podcasting for your A?
Yeah, so I didn't really pick podcasting. I was given a job here at Rodriguez Prep Academy to teach English language arts, and I was very excited to get that job. When I came in, I was told, the school is big on elective classes. It's part of the magnet program, and I was given the opportunity to pick what elective class I would teach. And I was told that a previous teacher who was no longer here at the school wanted to set up a podcasting class. And I thought that was awesome. That's a great idea. So I wanted to fulfill that dream. And so I ended up setting up the podcasting class.
And I guess we're all glad that you did, because, I really like this 8th period.
Yes, this is a very good 8th period. And also, I'm pretty sure you made the other teacher who was trying to set it up very happy that you kind of gave them that ladder, a little push to help them.
Yeah, ultimately, it's all for the students. That's what I do it for. It's all for you guys and for the school. That's what we're here for.
If you had picked in a different elective other than podcast, what would you pick?
So at my previous school that I used to teach at, I taught an elective, which was yearbook and journalism class. So I ran that for 1 year, and I really enjoyed that because I had my students create a school newspaper along with making the yearbook, and that was a fun class.
Can you tell us where you from and your origin story? We had asked Miss Atencio this, and we would like to know what you would have to say in response to this question too.
Sure. So I was born in the city of Fontana at Kaiser not high school, the Kaiser Hospital, and I grew up in San Bernardino, off of Baseline and Virginia Street, that area, if you know about it. Not a great area, but I really enjoyed my childhood. I went to Riley Elementary School, if anybody knows where that is. I had a great childhood growing up here. And then I moved to all over the Inland Empire after I left elementary school. I ended up graduating high school in Rialto, and then I went to college in Riverside. And then I worked in city of Colton, city of Beaumont, and then city of Ontario. And now I'm here in wonderful San Bernardino.
Right.
So I see you kind of went back, but you found yourself back where your childhood was.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always had a special fondness for this city, because I spent so much time here. Me and my friends used to walk up and down Highland Avenue, and, we were all over this city. We'd go down to the malls, and I have a lot of love for this place.
Mm-hmm. Here's a little follow-up question for that, to add to your story.
Sure.
What was the hardest challenge that you've had to overcome in your whole life? You could always throw in two if there was two of them that are tied at hard.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great question. I tell students about this story sometimes. About 6 or 7 years ago, I was driving to work. I used to work the night shift. And I was driving to work. It was kind of late at night, a truck driver who clearly was, falling asleep or something, started moving through the lanes in an 18-wheeler without, signaling or anything, just very fast, going from the left lane all the way to the right lane. I was in the far right lane, and this guy literally crushed the front of my car, and I was sent on the side of the road. My car went spinning. It flipped over. And my car was completely totaled. The front of it was almost ripped off from the 18-wheeler because the 18-wheeler literally crushed the front of the car. But the 18-wheeler was able to keep going. And the driver did not stop, did not come to check if I was alive or anything. I was very lucky to be alive. I will say that. And I always think about that moment because I came out of it, I'm okay. I got some back problems. I got some other issues, but overall I'm here and I'm speaking to you guys, and, I'm not, paralyzed for life as I easily could have been. If the truck had come even a few feet more closer to the driver's seat, I would have been probably killed. It was that close because it crushed the windshield, it crushed everything. So I got very lucky, and I always think about that because to this day I have health problems, certain things that are caused more or less from that incident. And so I think back on how lucky that I am to have survived that, to come out okay, when every day people don't get to come home because of car accidents.
And then, so I have one more question for you.
Okay.
I would like to know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people might want to know, did you have a podcast before podcasting with your students and other things? And what got you into podcasting like?
Yeah, so that's a wonderful question. No, I never had my own podcast, but I used to run my own recording studio. I did that for about 3 years, where I ran my own recording studio in Rialto, and I would record bands and singers and rappers and even spoken word artists. And they would all come there and record, and I would do all the audio engineering, and then I had another person who handled all the booking. And it was pretty fun. I had a good time. I wasn't able to continue that business, but during that time, I learned a lot. I learned how to work with lots of other people. I learned how to use audio equipment, how to make mics sound better, how to, just record all different types of people. And so it was a great experience. But no, I never ran my own podcast, although I have wanted to.
So you're talking about how you used to record for like rappers and singers and stuff.
Yes.
Is there anybody who's famous now that you had recorded and you still remember to this day?
No one that would be, nationwide famous, but I did record some bands that went on tour, some rappers who had some fan base in maybe Southern California, things like that, but nobody that was super famous.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you some questions now.
Sure.
So at the start of the year, I don't know if you remember this, but you had us make these little silly podcasts to see who would actually be on the big boy one, right?
Right.
And you used that to pick the hosts. Was it difficult to choose the hosts just based off of the podcasts? Because like sometimes you don't know the person's personality. Like, yeah, they might sound nice in the podcast, but like on this one, they might be like, so it's like, was it difficult to choose which host to be? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And a lot of people ask me, they say, how did you go about choosing all the hosts? And, I like to explain that It was a process by having everybody create their own podcast in my class. And then I reviewed every single podcast. I listened to all of them. I watched all of them. And I took notes on the ones that I felt were really effective. And by effective, I mean they had good video and audio, but more than that, they showed that they actually wanted to be on a podcast or make their own. They demonstrated that by the way that they handled the podcast. And so I was able to go through and listen to students who had podcasts on all kinds of things, from scrub daddies, right, to other topics that were interesting to students. Exactly. So there were all kinds of cool topics, right? I got to learn about things I didn't know about. Dominic went on and on about sports, and I don't normally like sports. I'll just be honest. I'm not a sports guy. But he made me interested in sports, like by the way that he did his podcast. And so by doing that, I was like, okay, this is the kind of person I want on my podcast. Basically, I if you interested me, I figured you're worthy of being on this podcast. Not that I'm super special or anything, but I just felt that if I like it, other people are probably going to like it.
How did you pick head hosts like me and Evan? Like, was it because we had like the best one out of everything? Was it more informative to you?
So, okay. So yes and no. So I wouldn't say that in every single category, you were the best at everything, but that's not what I was looking for. What I was looking for were people that could write, produce, record their own podcasts without much prepping at all from me, and that would be able to sustain that on a show for the entire school year. It's not easy to run this podcast. A lot of people have asked me, why did I choose Ryan and Evelyn to be our hosts? And it's because they have the skills that are necessary. And I can't teach those skills to you. I just don't have enough time in the school year. I only see you guys 4 days a week, and I only get 1 day a week where we actually have a full-on class period, right? So we don't have enough time to teach you skills. So you have to come to the podcast with those skills already.
Yeah. And if I'm right, you and Evelyn both have like a YouTube and stuff that we have ran either in the past or are still running now.
Yes.
Or like a podcast that's still running now, because I have my podcast and my YouTube. I'm still running both. It's just I'm more on my podcast than my YouTube now.
I know I listen to your podcast on Spotify. I got a Spotify account to listen to your podcast.
Yeah, why don't you tell them what the name of your podcast is? Go ahead and shout that out.
My podcast name is What About It by Ryan Hernandez. On the picture it has a One Piece logo. That's what it is. It's one of the One Piece logos, the Arlong Pirates.
Yeah, I personally enjoy your podcast, Ryan. I think that you do a good job of making those episodes. I think more people need to listen to them.
Yeah, I'm definitely working on my next one. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube, it's also on my podcast description. It's
nice.
I need to change it, actually. I changed the name to my YouTube. But yeah, I like everyone's cheese song.
You have a cheese song?
I made up a song about cheese because it's like in 3rd grade, because like I had a huge gotcha phase and was still kind of in it, like Gotcha Life, and they would do these like singing battles, and we would like do them with my friends like at recess, and I made up this song about cheese because I forgot the actual like lyrics to the song I was gonna do, and I was like, cheese, it's gluten free, it has a lot of vitamins and protein, and so I put it on YouTube a little bit ago, because like I wrote like lyrics, and then I auto-tuned it and sped it up so then it doesn't sound that bad.
That's pretty cool. Now I'm gonna have to check out your cheese song.
Maybe we should add it at the end of our podcast.
No. Yeah, it's just
we'll add a clip from it. The one where you're smacking, where you threw the cheese. Didn't you throw cheese on one during the video? I forgot.
I didn't throw cheese. I just recorded me outside. I wanted it to be kind of like a homemade feeling. So
You know, that reminds me of a story when I was in high school. Me and my friend, the not cheese, but we we wanted to make a video about the benefits of milk, and drinking milk. And so my friend decided to chug an entire gallon of milk to show the benefits of that.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen like a whole gallon.
If you know anything about that, yeah, nobody can drink a whole gallon of milk without something bad happening at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, because you probably get too much fluids in.
That is correct.
But I tried a lot for my cheese song. I even like that day I asked my dad if I could go to Best Buy because I had been like saving up money, and I got this like little camcorder.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Take an initiative.
I can bring it next time.
I just searched up what would happen if you drank a full gallon of milk in one day, and Google says if your body doesn't produce enough lactose, the enzymes that break down the sugar in dairy, which, you know, drinking a gallon of milk is probably going to lead to bloating, nausea, and some serious farts at minimum. Even if you're not full-blown lactose intolerant, drinking too much milk can contribute to a leaky gut.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
It
I
says
I really hope your friend wasn't lactose intolerant. That would suck.
He's not. He can handle it, but it was quite funny and
it says generally the stomach can only hold half a gallon of milk.
right. And I'm not suggesting you do this, but yeah, on your own time, you can look up people drinking a gallon of milk and see the result of that.
Yeah.
In today's video, I drank a gallon of milk to see what happens.
Yeah, so to go back to the like normal podcast questions, we kind of went off on a
That's
tangent.
all right.
But and it's okay if you don't have an answer for this one, but who is your favorite podcast host?
Ooh, getting with the spicy questions now.
Spicy.
I found stuff. 1 gallon chocolate milk chugged in way under 1 minute. That's
Okay.
why Badland chugs. I watch him.
Hold on, I want to answer this question. Are you talking about right now or just ever?
I think
right now.
yeah, just like who's the favorite podcast host you chose in this class? Like
And there has to be a favorite. There's no exceptions.
I've got to pick a favorite. is
Yeah.
what he
Yeah.
said.
no, you
Yeah.
have to.
You can't
You
be
have
like,
to.
oh, you're all my favorite.
Yeah.
No,
I
you
don't know,
gotta
it's
say-
like-
Don't be lame like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like you're able to say you don't have one, but don't be like I have a lot of kids in my classroom because I hate it when people do that. Or it's like this is a safe space to truly show yourself. Like it's okay to be like you can talk about stuff, but don't be like
I know.
safe.
So to answer your question, it really depends. So I'm not gonna, be one of those teachers that say I don't have a favorite because there are a lot of students that I really appreciate. But if I'm looking at who's my favorite vocally, right? Who I think could deliver a podcast without even video, because they're so confident in the way that they speak and are able to convey things in a really good way, I would say Evelyn, because I think that Evelyn is able to speak often in a way that sounds almost like an adult. And you're only in middle school, and yet you are very confident in the way that you present yourself. So that would be my answer.
Not gonna lie, I'm looking at everyone's faces. They all looked so disappointed.
I thought the way that you were leading it up, I thought you were going to say like something like me because I have my own podcast.
So
like, if I were to have a script, I would.
Okay, so I clarified that, which is that who do I think is, the best public speaker, right? That would be Evelyn. Who would I look towards to run a podcast though? Ryan, right? So it depends on who we're talking about for what category. There are different students that meet different needs, and everybody plays a role.
What's my role?
Your role is podcast host.
I'm considering trying to make like a video podcast on my thing because they just introduced video podcasting to Spotify.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a new format on there. You can do video podcasts.
nice. We'll have to get in on that as well.
Yeah, which means if you go on Spotify, right, and you were to watch it, like you
Yeah.
have your phone on you,
You can watch it from
you
your
could
phone.
watch the video of them specifically talking or like them sitting there.
Yeah, I like that.
I've seen a couple podcasts do it, like like YouTubers. They've been getting on podcasting because they introduced that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been having their videos on there now. So it's like, it's easy if like, you know how Spotify Premium allows you to listen to things without, what's it called? No, without Wi-Fi. Say without your
Does?
Wi-Fi. Huh?
It does?
Yeah.
That's
Sorry.
crazy.
Well, you can download it and then listen to it later. Is
Yeah.
that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Say you download a video that you want to watch from that YouTuber,
Right.
and you could watch it anytime because, you know, you can't watch YouTube without internet.
Right.
That's one of those. You can just download a podcast and listen to it
Right.
and watch the
Right.
video for it.
Gotcha.
I was like, you can watch YouTube without internet, but then I remembered my dad bought YouTube Premium, so I can also
Yeah.
download stuff on YouTube.
That's the reason why. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be able to download it to watch it offline.
So I have another question for you. How old are you?
So my students think that I'm like 50. Many of them are shocked when they find out how
37.
actually old I am. So go ahead and take a guess, all of you guys.
37.
42.
29.
I'm also gonna go 29.
You don't look like you're over your 30s. You look like you could be young. I'm just going to go with like 28.
I appreciate that. I am 32 years old.
So practically 40.
Practically 40 is crazy.
Not quite.
If
Not
it
quite.
goes, it goes to-
So hey,
I've got some
13 years
years before I hit the 40
you're 13
mark.
years old. Oh, you're technically 20.
I mean, to me, when you hit 30, you're officially old.
I agree. I am old. I'm not going to deny it.
Can we please get like your producer tag?
So some people know that I am a producer, right? Or you may not know that I produce my own music. I do outside of school. And I produced the instrumentals for this podcast, and I will continue to produce music for this podcast. But my producer profile is private. I don't share that with students. I don't share that at school. Because what I make outside of school is completely unrelated to me as a teacher, and so I do not relate the two at all.
But it's related to like the podcast because you make music for the podcast on there.
Yeah.
And I do, and I share the music with the podcast, absolutely. But I keep my private music private.
I thought you were about to reveal it. I even went to my unblocked browser. It would on SoundCloud.
Nope, ain't gonna happen.
When you said I make music outside of school, I was fine with that. But then my brain came up with this thing like you just like fully emo, and it was so stupid. It was my heart.
I did have an emo phase.
Please tell me you have a somewhere.
I have a photo somewhere.
You need to throw it into the podcast. you need to like. You need to,
If I
like, add a
can, if I
vibe
can
sound
find
effect.
I'll throw the photo up on this part.
Good idea. You can cut this with the podcast. But what if you do like the Vine Booba sound effect and have the picture appear after she said emo phase, and like you have the picture appear, the Vine Boom plays.
I like that.
I think that'd be a good idea.
I'll
It'd
consider
be
that.
one of those funny ones, funny, haha, silly.
What else you got? What else you got
Um,
for me?
How old is your kid?
I have 3 kids, not just one.
Whoa.
Which
All
one's
3
the
then.
best? Who's doing the best in like?
Who's your favorite?
Yeah, who's your favorite?
Hold on, because you're
Who's
asking
doing
a bunch
best
of
in school?
questions.
When were they born? How old are they?
What's their social security number?
Hold
Where do they
on.
live?
What's your credit card number? What's your favorite?
Like, what's the
food?
address?
So, first of all, I have a 3-year-old son. His name's John. I have a 6-year-old daughter. Her name is Jane. And then I have a 16-year-old stepdaughter. Her name is Gwendolyn. And What were your other questions?
How old are they?
Social security.
I just said how old they are.
Oh,
What's your social security number?
That's not.
What's your home
a question.
address? What's
Seriously.
your SoundCloud tag? What's
Well-
your kid's SoundCloud tag?
They have no. They have no SoundCloud.
What's their TikTok?
There's that about their kid.
Who's your
It's
favorite
the
child?
YouTube
yeah. Who's your
video.
favorite? Who's your favorite kid?
So again, that
Be honest.
that really does depend on what I'm talking about. So like,
Hold on.
Who's the
Who's
sweetest?
the better one?
yeah.
Who is the one getting in least trouble? Because that's usually the favorite.
So none of them.
I'm my mom's favorite because I never get trouble.
None of my kids get in any trouble. In fact, like my 3-year-old, he's in daycare. His daycare, the people taking care of him, they have told me, you know, this is the best child here at daycare. You know, please make more of these kids. And then same thing with my 6-year-old. She's always getting awards in school. She's always doing great. My 16-year-old, she's an artist. She really is. She's won actual art competitions and she's wonderful. She's great at writing as well. All of them are great at being good in school. So I if I had to pick a favorite out of that, I couldn't. But I have a soft spot for my son because he's a boy and I'm a boy, right? Obviously, I'm going to relate to him. And he wants to be just like me. You know, I love that. I encourage it as much as possible.
Another question. All I keep thinking about is like them in their emo phase right now. I just keep imagining that.
photo.
I'll try to find the photo.
Like give
You throw it in
give
with the
each of them like a
Bible.
little like cut out your hair from it and just.
Yeah.
Every time we mention emo face, you need to throw in that.
There was a time when I had hair, believe it or not.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, and I used to grow it long because I had it and I liked hair. Yeah.
So emo
I mean,
hair.
I know
Like
got a
hair.
beard, but
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about facial hair.
yeah. I don't know. I think every time we say emo face, you should just throw in the picture of you with the. I just can't stop thinking about your emo face. Boom.
That would be
It's not
great.
a
I'll have
face,
to make that
Mom.
into a meme. Just put in a picture.
I know. You know what the Vine boom is, right? Have you heard it? It's just like
I don't think Diego's
I
asked
want to
me.
ask a question.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
What is your life outside of school? Anything school related?
Yeah. So, great question. A lot of
Grading
people
papers.
A lot of people like to know, what do teachers do outside of school? So some of the cool teachers that aren't me, right? They go and do cool things like go to concerts, right? Teachers always telling me, oh, I went to see Bad Bunny. I went to do this. You know, I'm like, oh, I don't do that kind of stuff.
Mr. Gomez does guitar.
Yeah, he goes and plays, guitar shows. In fact, I was invited to one not too long ago. I don't do anything cool like that at all.
Do anything cool in your emo face?
Well, in my lifetime, I've done cool things, but after I became a teacher, I very much enjoy my time at home with my kids. I also like to spend a lot of time working on music production of my own music that you will not hear.
I will
Do you
find
play
it.
any instrument, or do you
Throwing out some word.
have you ever played like an instrument? Or-
So, kind of. I can play keyboard pretty well. Not to the point where I'm like a piano player, but to the point where I can compose music online. And that's about it. Also, I have a drum pad that I use to make beats, so I can actually, that kind of thing with a drum pad.
I want a drum pad.
And so that's not quite an instrument, but I'm able to use it like an instrument pretty well.
I got a question for you so that we can get sponsored by Scrub Daddy. What's your favorite Scrub Daddy product?
I love the traditional Scrub Daddy. You know, I
Hershey.
can't deny it. It was invented
You need-
perfectly. There's
You need to
nothing.
make a Scrub Daddy song.
There's nothing to criticize about the Scrub Daddy. I love that thing. I clean my dishes daily. I have a dishwasher, but many times I like to do it old school because, it's kind of therapeutic to me to wash the dishes by hand.
I forced
and
my brother to wash mine.
And I love the Scrub Daddy. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
How's it like having your own podcast? Like, are you proud of yourself for what you have done?
I love that question, and
thanks.
no, I'm not proud of myself. I'm proud of you guys.
Thanks.
It's not me that's doing this podcast. Yeah, I do the editing. Yeah, I do the music, but everything else is done by you guys. And you guys write the podcast. You guys, create the podcast. You book the guests, and you come up with these wonderful questions, and then you even improvise on the spot. And all of that could not happen if you weren't dedicated.
Like today.
Absolutely. And you guys are dedicated. And that's what I love about this show is that you actually care about it and you come in every week wanting to make it better. And that's the only way we're going to be successful is if you guys all want to continue to make things better.
If you're really that proud of me, can I get ice cream?
I don't know if
Ice
I'm that
cream.
proud.
Oh,
Look, now it's starting to burn.
Oh,
It's been so long, it's starting
Cook
to
it.
burn.
cook it.
You are a fantastic artist. I don't know what to say. I'm just
Beautiful.
flabbergasted at how amazing that is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for
Especially
coming
in the
on.
time I made it.
Thank you.
Especially in these hard times, you can see how happy the egg is to have you on with us. But the egg is going to become sad because we soon have to leave because it's almost 2:30, and that's what. No, we get out at 2:31, but it's almost 2:31, so we can't record any longer because you can't hold us here against our will.
Unfortunately.
Sadly, but thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you all. Now we'll have to do this all again on Friday.
Mr. Autrey, what?
Eagle time. You hear it? It's coming. Eagle time, eagle time, eagle time, eagle. Eagle time, eagle time, eagle time, eagle time.